What's going on, guys? Phil here with Autumn, and we have returned for this special episode of Cape Talk. We had to come back just to talk Avengers Infinity War. If you guys haven't watched it, what are you guys doing? What are you doing here? We're going to be talking spoilers, pretty much everything we thought about the movie, what we liked, what we disliked, what we think is going to happen in the next one. You know, who knows? Yeah, we'll just put that spoiler warning right now. So if you haven't watched it yet, save this for later.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's just dive right in, I guess.
Shit. Oh my god.
It's a long 3-hour movie.
Oh, Marvel just dove right in too. They really just expected you to kind of have seen everything and be up to date, and we just kind of kicked right off where we all thought the last ended, Thor.
Yeah, so Thor Ragnarok ended with the ship of Asgardians in space, and then this giant ship kind of approaching it, and kind of just left you off there. You didn't know if it's Thanos or whoever. We kind of figured it was Thanos, and we got confirmation pretty,
And we got
early.
to see Loki die.
Yes.
Which
We got
I'm very happy about.
For those scoring at home, Heimdall was the first death. Heimdall was the first death.
It's a sad death.
Well,
weren't all the other Asgardians dead?
Yeah, but no one cares about that.
No one cares.
No
about
one cares about the
names.
nameless Asgardians. I hope Matt Damon was one of those. Matt Damon's cameo.
Man.
So Heimdall's like all messed up, but he's still alive. He, the Hulk fights Thanos for a bit and gets his ass kicked.
So is there any Asgardians left aside from Thor, or like what's good with that? Like
probably Valkyrie still alive.
Yeah.
Because they explained like half. I think he explains it to the Guardians, like half of the people on that ship left.
Oh, okay.
In the fight, I guess.
I see. Okay.
They got to escape.
Gotcha.
So
what's the future for them, you think?
Probably just in space somewhere.
Yeah. It's sad.
Very sad. Maybe they'll come to Earth, because they were heading to Earth anyway.
That's true, yeah.
So they might just go to Earth. The Hulk gets his ass kicked by Thanos, really showing off how big of a threat Thanos is. And Heimdall, with his last kind of like breath, sends the Hulk to Earth using his magic, and that's when he dies. That
was the last time we saw like Hulk as Hulk in the movie.
Yeah, because that was one of the subplots, one of the many subplots in this movie.
And, why did they have to give that one promo they had of the Hulk running with everybody? But like the thing in the movie is he can't.
That whole scene was not in the movie. The whole like slow motion.
The whole scene
towards the thing was not in the movie at all.
Really, not at all.
Not at all.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the thing at all, because, like you said, the Hulk was in that shot.
Right. Yeah.
So he's clearly was not. He was actually Bruce Banner was actually in the Hulkbuster suit at the end.
I didn't. That was a little bit. Well,
it was just they were just telling a story, because clearly the Hulk was scared of Thanos and didn't want to come out.
Right.
That's pretty much what the whole thing was.
You think it was that?
Because he lost. He got beat up. So he was just like, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Heimdall dies. Loki dies trying to kill Thanos, but that wasn't going to happen.
And then from there, it's like hard to even keep track of what happened, though, because it's just so much jumping around.
Yeah, they blow up the ship, so Thor gets thrown away, and they head with the Tesseract using the power. They say, "Oh, we're heading to Earth." Or the children, the Black Order, are heading to Earth, because two of them are there, the Time Stone and the Mind Stone.
Right. So, you know what was also a pleasant surprise was the scenes with Doctor Strange. He really carried, for me, the first act of that movie.
I know, that was the one sort of spoiler I had or saw on Twitter and stuff, was like people were just praising Doctor Strange. And I'm like, yeah, for good reason. Like, he really did a lot, and I'm glad they gave him a lot of time, because he's an important character in the Marvel Universe, and all he did was get his origin movie and then a bit part in Thor Ragnarok. So to see him like really go with Tony Stark especially was really fun. And to really show how important his job is. Right. So that was pretty cool. That
was some of my favorite scenes. And I love at the end how Wong just like dipped. Oh, like, he was just like, bye, my man. Like, see ya. Like,
well, his explanation was, he was like, I need to protect the Sanctum.
Yeah.
Because now Doctor Strange is gone.
That's true.
So that was a good way to just write him off. There's too many characters. It's like, okay, you had your time to shine in the Battle of New York Part 2. So
But Tony, and Peter all up in space was like phenomenal. I love the way that they just kind of jumped right into that.
I loved how I will say the pacing was great. You know what I mean? Like it was just like back to back.
It was good for what it was.
Yeah,
you know
just
what
like
I mean?
this felt like the most comic book movie I've ever watched.
Really?
You know, because like there's so many different things going on at once, and you're like jumping around, just like you're turning a page, and it's like.
That's actually a really good way to put it.
Yeah, it's like it felt very comic book in that the formatting of it, where it's like, you know, I love X-Men, and there's like a lot of X-Men, and there's a lot of times like, well, the A group and then the B group, you go to Europe, and then we're gonna go to California.
Right.
So you're always going back between the two.
Yeah.
In this case, we got like 4 different subplots.
Well, you know why I think it worked was because I was actually thinking about this at night after I watched the movie. Was that. You know how in movies where it's usually like forced, where it's like, okay, well, this group, the A group here is right, but then we're going to get a bunch of exposition that explains like why the B group is there, you know, where there wasn't that exposition, like it wasn't orchestrated necessarily.
Yeah. People
just kind of ended up meeting up with each other when they, you know, weren't supposed to, or we didn't really know how they got there, but they're there.
Well, I mean, to counter that, okay, so we had the New York group, was like you said, Doctor Strange, Bruce Banner, who got sent to the Sanctum. That's how they met up. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing I said after the movie. I felt after the movie, everything done in the movie was purposeful, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, why send the Hulk back? You know, could have sent Thor back.
Yeah.
But you sent the Hulk back. It's like, why would you do that? And it's just like, I don't know if there was like a reason, Heimdall's reasoning, besides him just like, oh shit, let me save this guy. But like, storyline-wise, Hulk hasn't been on Earth in years.
Right.
And to send him back to meet Doctor Strange for the first time, to see Tony Stark, that interaction when they see each other for the first time in years, like hug, they're like friends. And like, to not know what happened during the Civil War was really cool. Like, oh, why aren't you talking to Steve? And then like kind of having to explain that to him.
The fucking phone, the flip
phone, yeah. So
well, I meant that it wasn't kind of it didn't feel orchestrated. I meant that in a good way. It was because I felt like it was what made jumping around feel all right.
Yeah, no. But my counter was that to the Scarlet Witch Vision in Germany.
Oh yeah,
and then Cap just showing up out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, why would you come there?
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit much too. Yeah.
I mean, they explained it, saying like they saw what happened in New York and they knew what was happening. But they had to
protect Vision.
And they knew they were coming after Vision, and I guess they knew where he was.
Yeah. So well, he was still working with them, not Scarlet Witch, I thought.
Well, after Civil War, Scarlet Witch was with Cap's side and Vision was with Tony's side.
Right.
So they just both dipped.
Gotcha.
And they were not in contact. It was supposed to be Vision was supposed to be in constant contact with Tony.
Right.
And he went dark.
Gotcha.
Probably because of with Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. I wish you know who we really didn't see pretty much at all, who had like one line, is like who? Winter Soldier.
I was just telling that to Andrew.
Like that
he was like, it was disappointing. Like
it was, but dude has gotten so much screen time in other people's movies.
Like, who's other movies?
What do you mean? He was like the whole like Civil War dude. Like, took over.
He was the whole reason for it.
I know. But
he was in Winter Soldier clearly because to bring him back into the thing, and then Civil War was about him, and that's all he's been in besides post credit here, post credit there.
That's true. I wish he got more than fucking.
Yeah, because then it's funny because the first disintegration death was him.
Yeah.
And it's like, that would have been a little more effective if we got to see more of that, him and Cap together.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's just like, he was just there. And it's just like, he was just he was just like Falcon. He was just like War Machine. They were just there.
Yeah.
You know, and they gave him a new arm and everything. It's just like, we don't get to see what that can do? Sure, fine.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just, I wish we got a little bit more from him, considering, I don't know, they built him up for so long.
How much stuff do you think that they cut from this? You know?
If it's 2 hours and 40 minutes, there's probably 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
If they combine, if they had a director's cut, it'd probably be 3.5 hours long.
Pardon me, interested to see what they got for that.
Yeah, I can imagine more Bucky stuff in Wakanda before everything goes down.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see like what is said on the press runs because they can't say so much. They end up, when they do say something, people end up kind of taking it out of context. Like, oh, well, that's going to take place in Wakanda. Okay, well, That's true, but, like, not really. Like, there really wasn't that much Wakanda, all things considered.
Yeah, nothing was there. Like, we saw, when they first got to Wakanda, with them bringing Vision there. And then we don't see them again until the final battle.
Right.
That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
Same thing with Tony Stark and them. We got them in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They get sent to space. We don't see them at all for a long time until they actually get on the planet, and then they meet with the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get that, and we don't see them again until the end.
Yeah.
When people are dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like, okay, so I was telling this to the other coworkers where it's like, which of the subplots? It was the New York group, then it was the Cap group, then it was the Guardians group, and then the Thor group. Which one did you like the most, and which one did you least like?
Well, I think it's a little bit, for me it's a little bit more complicated.
Uh-huh.
Which did I think added the most to the story?
Or which one did you care the least about, I should say?
I think that I didn't think they did Cap well.
Okay.
I honestly don't. I think that they could have just left him out altogether.
You're right. Like him showing up to help Scarlet Witch. That was like one of my favorite scenes. Was like that early beginning. That whole fight was really well done.
I almost wish they started with that.
No, I know you disagreed. Like you said, like being back with Thor on the ship should not have started it. It's like no, I think it did. I think it needed to be there. It probably went too long, but like it needed to start there. To really like I said with the Hulk thing, it's like just to show how badass and a big threat Thanos was.
I thought the Guardians. I love the way that they brought, because we were all expecting Thor to spend the most time with the Guardians, and them to be their own. But when Iron Man and Strange and Peter ended up with Star-Lord, I thought that was phenomenal the way that they did that.
Yeah, I like how that went down.
None of it felt forced.
Yeah.
It was very, very good. I do think, I think a lot of people are upset about the Gamora storyline, but the Soul Stone mystery, for me, it was a lot of build up before the film. That's all everyone was talking about. They nailed it. And I wasn't expecting that, to see Red Skull again. That was, they really nailed that.
They really nailed, because I think about all of Thanos' appearances in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Obviously, the post-credits for first Avengers, you literally get nothing but him turning around his head and smiling. Then you get Guardians 1, where you really get him to speak finally. You see him actually doing something and, kind of getting some backstory with Gamora and Nebula being his father and, going at it from them. From their point of view, he's a monster, he's a tyrant, blah, blah, blah. And then, do we see him again?
No.
No. We don't see him again until now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, Gamora, that storyline with Thanos really pushed Thanos to be, a really good villain to me.
Well, I think Thanos is a good villain to me for one reason and one reason only. I think he's pretty stereotypical villain in his kind of...
mindset?
Right. The thing that makes Thanos a good villain is, what do we never see in comic book movies? Heroes dying. We never fucking see it. If we read about it in the comics, heroes get defeated. Maybe they not die, but they get defeated.
The villain wins. This is the first time the villain won. Really.
Well, I think the villain won in Black Panther, but in a different way. But I feel like I want to see heroes die. We see villains die. Villains cycle out. I think it's part of Marvel's villain problem in general is that they're not getting rid of heroes at the same pace. It's always expected. Oh, the hero will come back, or the hero will win, or the hero will find a way. And whether taking out of the conversation the fact that we know these people are going to come back, and I think my kind of perspective on Infinity War will depend on a lot about how they deal with Avengers 4. But I liked that heroes did not win. Mm-hmm. We just don't see that enough.
No, we don't, and that's what made it a gut punch to everybody. It was like, no, the heroes lost.
Yeah.
No matter what that last scene of Thanos just sitting there and smiling, just yo, that dude won.
Yeah.
He got, at the end of the day, he won't win because we know it's heroes. They're going to overcome this and everything will kind of go back to the status quo, right? But, for this movie and for all the time leading into the next Avengers movie, the villains won. The heroes lost.
Can you think of the last movie where, it ended in just, devastation?
In a superhero movie? Not really.
Yeah, me either.
I'm trying to think of the X-Men movies. Not really. None of them. They all ended. you know,
the X-Men does
much,
do it a little bit better.
As much as people, and I didn't like the third one with the Dark Phoenix.
Right.
Like, the ending was, like, pretty down, though, because everyone died.
Right.
A lot of people died in that movie. So it's, like, a very dour note to end on. It's like, yeah, they won, but did they really win?
I mean, Logan was, like, a little bit different as well. Like I said, the X-Men universe has always been a little bit different.
Yeah, it's always been grounded more, like, realistic anyway. But, like, the X-Men 3, United We Stand, or whatever the hell it's called, that one is, like, the only one I could think of where a lot of people died, and, yeah, the heroes won, but, like, did they really win?
Yeah.
They sacrificed a lot of lives to win. And that was the only time I could think of. This one's like, yeah, they kind of won because not everyone's dead. Like, everyone could have died. But, like, no, half the people are dead.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I'll be really interested to see how they handle this coming back. I mean, do you have any, like, reading the comic books? You've read Infinity Gauntlet and, you know, Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
Anything you can tell us from...
It's... You know, I applaud them for actually going the route of Infinity Gauntlet, like how it ended with half the people dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they easily could not have done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just left it as a devastation sort of thing.
See, that to me is why people are saying the ending is cheap. I get it, but...
It's not. It's like...
Yeah.
You know, it's not. They executed the book very close. You know what I mean? I don't know how close they'll get afterwards. I don't think they'll go very close. Like, I think they'll just do their own thing from now on, so I have no idea. The only thing I could think of is they get some of the stones, and, like, that's how they fight back. You know what I mean? They somehow go find him, and they'll get some of the stones, and then, like, they'll separate it from the gauntlet and kind of depower him. And then sort of, like, one person will have... this is me, like, fantasy booking, quote-unquote, where, like, each person will have a stone. And I was saying this with, like, my fiance. It was like, who can handle it? Thor can handle it.
Right.
Star-Lord can handle it. Star-Lord can handle it. Thor can handle it, for sure. Probably Cap.
Well, Cap will die doing it.
Yeah, he will die doing it, but he could do it.
Yeah. I think Black Panther can handle it on his own.
Maybe.
Just because he'll probably, if anything, he could handle, like, the Soul Stone.
Well, Thor, because he's a god.
Yeah.
Star-Lord, he's half god.
Right.
I say Cap because he's so worthy, like, to even lift a little bit of Mjolnir, that he probably has something, like, I don't know, the super soldier serum, whatever, can let him long enough to use it.
His will.
Yeah. Who else? I don't know anyone else because
I mean, Hulk 6 of them, do right? Anything. Right?
Maybe the Hulk.
Yeah.
That's 4.
And Strange, of course. Yeah.
Oh, he could use the Time Stone. Yeah. It's 5. Maybe go more.
Are you including Black Panther in the 5 or no?
No, I wasn't. Because I don't necessarily agree, but
I agree. But
I mean, he could be. I'm gonna say Gamora just for the story's sake.
Yeah.
I'll say Gamora for the story's sake.
The only thing that makes me think about Black Panther is that we still don't really know exactly what that herb, like where it stems from, what spirits it's
clearly,
to.
I mean, clearly it's not anything to do with the Soul Stone, which was the theory running.
Right.
Because it's not it's a whole other planet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That no one really, like, got. You know, it was just, it's been there from, like, since the dawn of time almost. So, yeah, I brought up, like, the teams being broke because I wasn't really feeling the Thor subplot with the axe thing. It was, like, okay, but that was the one I least cared about. I was just like, who cares? I really didn't care.
I loved when he came back at the end.
Oh, that was one of the things I was like, I had clapped him with the new suit and everything. I'm like, yeah, that was, like,
Thor,
dope.
I mean... Thor, they really turned that motherfucker around.
What a 180. Right? From Thor 3 to here. Just like, he was my least favorite character.
I fucking hated him back then.
But now he's like, he's like the savior. Like, he's the, like, you think it was Cap. Like, no, Thor is the guy.
Well, I knew in Ragnarok when they had him just, like, fucking slaying without a hammer even, I was like, there's a big future for this.
But it was funny because I think did I bring it up to you? I brought it up to them for sure. It was just like, okay, so all the stuff he learned in Thor Ragnarok, not needing the hammer to use electricity, he's like, where was this? You didn't use it against Thanos at all.
Yeah.
Where the hell was that?
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever.
Well, you know how we unboxed those toys?
Oh, I said that to
when I looked at the hammer, I was like, wait, why does that look like a stick? And, like, now we...
because it's Groot. It was an axe. Like, him getting the axe, I was like, oh, that kind of... And him getting another eye. So that definitely spoiled the
Rocco
movie.
was like, where the fuck did that come from? I was like, is that from Guardians 1 or 2? Where he steals that up? I think it's 1, too. That was a long time ago. Was that 2013? or later.
We're in 18?
Yeah.
Maybe 15.
That's a while. Yeah.
3 years ago?
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. The Guardians, and I said this, the Guardians got fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's dead except for Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, every one of them are dead. It's like, that cracks me up. All of them are dead. But, like, just like in relation to the first two, remember how we spoke about this in our other reviews? Like, Guardians 1 and then Guardians 2 is like a week later,
right.
or like 2 weeks later, which is why their dynamics are the same. And then now you see them now, and their dynamics are way different. You know what I mean? It's like they're way more friendly to each other. Gamora and Star-Lord are way friendly with each other. A lot of people were like, oh, that makes no sense. Like, she didn't want to be with him, and now they're together. I said, yeah, because years.
And the time changes stuff.
You don't realize.
It's like on a ship with somebody.
It's like this is from Avengers, Infinity War, and Guardians Volume 2. There's probably years.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, of course you could see it with her anyway, that she was kind of like, yeah, he's not bad.
Men grow on you, all right. That's why they're like. I feel like they're more like persistent, a party.
Especially like, clearly Star-Lord was the most persistent. Oh, yeah. But a lot of people online are like, I'm pissed off at Star-Lord.
Oh, because
idiot.
The fucking ass. Okay, so let's get to this scene though, because the real question at hand isn't really like Star-Lord's a fucking asshole. They could have gotten the gauntlet off. The real question is, was that him doing that part of the future that Doctor Strange saw?
I had this discussion after the movie too. It's like, why did Doctor Strange? And I have two thoughts about it. Why did Doctor Strange just give up the Time Stone? Mm-hmm. And my thought was because he saw it, and that's what he had to do. Mm-hmm. But then doesn't it take away from the thought that, no, I want to, like, because he says it on the ship, like, if it's between you, Spider-Man, and the Time Stone, I'm going for the Time Stone. Fuck you guys, I don't care. But then he clearly cared about them towards the end. So does that take away from that feeling? You know what I mean? That's like, no, I knew this was going to happen, and I need to give them the Time Stone.
I think he knew that they weren't going to win that battle, even if they got the gauntlet off, and I think he just let it happen. I
honestly think Tony Stark is way too important, and that's why he said, I'll give you it if you let him live. Mm-hmm. The whole point was to let Tony Stark live. Mm-hmm. I think that's the future he saw where they win, it's Tony Stark.
Tony is alive.
Tony has to be alive. Mm-hmm. And that was the one way to do it. I don't know if he saw that specifically how it went down, because then you go into time travel crap where it's like, if he's the only one, because my fiance asked, it's like, do you think he told them the future? The one, because they could have asked, like, okay, did you see one that we win? And he only said one. Mm-hmm. Okay, what happened in that one?
Right.
And I said, no, I don't think he told them.
I didn't see that, but you never know.
Yeah, like off screen, did he tell them off screen? I'm like, I don't think so. I think he's the only one that knows what happened.
Yeah.
But does that...
Well, how time travel works, he probably knows that you can't really reveal it, or else it's...
Yeah, but then, like, wouldn't you, like, try to... But how would you try to make... Since he knows now exactly what happens in the battle, like, how can he make sure that happens?
Well, I think Doctor Strange probably... in my idea of what time travel works, is Doctor Strange knows that if he told him, that would be changing the destiny. You know what I mean? The person kind of has to do it unknowing of the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he was in the battle for a lot of it, Doctor Strange. So, like, you think he knew exactly what he had to do and what everyone else had to do to make sure this whole future goes as planned?
Well, he was probably having to decipher between each future as he goes. So he's like, okay, oh wait, they almost have the gauntlet off. Star-Lord fucked it up. This is the one. And he might not have known until that moment that was the future.
Maybe he didn't see the whole future. Maybe he just saw...
So it was like a process of elimination almost. You know what I mean? To figure out what moments were in part of each future.
Yeah.
And once he got to the moment where Star-Lord fucked it up, he knew that saving Tony was...
the only way.
The only option at that point. He knew what future it was.
I thought Tony was dead.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit, he's dead.
I almost wish they killed him.
Nah, I said that, we talked about it weeks leading into it. It's like Tony needs to die. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, he always brings me back in. Like, that fucking guy, man. Like, I always hate him.
Jr., yeah.
I hate him, and then like I see his performance, I'm like, damn, okay.
He really embodies that character. I mean, it's been too long now, so how couldn't he? But
I mean, it's gonna be 10 years since Iron Man 1.
Damn, he's come a long way as a person.
Yeah, but he needed to survive, and some people brought it up, was like the old guard was the only one standing.
Yeah, the OGs.
The OGs and Rocket, And there's a reason for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a definite reason for that, and it's like it's so obvious with the next one how it's all gonna end.
Mm-hmm.
It's with Tony retiring and married and gone, and he just retires.
You think he's gonna live on? You think?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's living. They build it up with the whole Pepper Potts wedding, and that's why when in the beginning, like it full circles towards the end, where it's like I'm thinking of like I had a dream that we were pregnant, and you know what I mean. And then him losing his surrogate son, Spider-Man, at the end. You know, it's gonna, you know, it's all about Pepper Potts saying you need to retire because we can't be a family if you're just gonna sacrifice your life, sort of thing, and endanger your life and our family, you know. Mm-hmm. And he just can't stop being Iron Man. And I think this whole thing is gonna make him realize, like, no, I'm done. There's other people who can do it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're gonna finally get married.
So you don't think they're gonna kill Cap and Iron Man?
They're not going to kill Iron Man. I think Cap could still die. I don't think Iron Man's dying, no. I can't wait for them to meet up again.
Oh, I know.
Oh, my God.
Wait, so they didn't come face to face? They didn't talk it out?
No, not at all.
Really?
Yeah, because he was just about to call Steve when shit went down in New York. So he dropped the phone, and that's when Bruce picked it up. Yeah. And then Iron Man was in space.
Not in Wakanda, they didn't have any interaction?
No, because he's been in space the whole time.
That's true.
Iron Man was on Titan the whole time. And at the end, it was only him and Nebula on that planet.
That's true.
So he needs to come back to Earth, and that's when we found. Oh, can't wait for that one.
Where's Spider-Man at this point?
He died. Oh, he was with Titan. He was with Tony Stark.
Oh, he was up there. That was a long sequence. Then I didn't think about that.
What?
Them up there while Wakanda battle.
Oh yeah, it was Star-Lord, not Star-Lord, Nebula, Mantis, Drax, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. The only ones who survived were Nebula and Iron Man. Yeah. Everyone else, poof.
So what was it, like 50-50 random? Like draw?
It was supposed to be random.
Yeah.
But like I said, like Guardians got the shorts.
You know what
They lost everyone besides Rocket. Everyone died. Everyone died.
Oh man, I'm so glad that they brought Maria Hill in the post credits.
I didn't think Fury was gonna die.
She's so like underserved.
Maria?
Like, yeah. Get this bitch in more scenes. Like, she's awesome.
She might be in a lot in Captain Marvel.
I assume so.
I assume so.
Yeah.
Not as director, but as like an agent.
Mm-hmm. I think I don't know if since that was so long ago, I don't even know if Fury will be director by then.
I don't even think he'll be director.
Yeah,
I think he'll be just a regular agent.
And Coulson's got to be like fucking young as hell.
And then Maria Hill's gonna be young as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how we were talking about Clark Gregg looking younger, but then like Samuel L. Jackson like clearly needs to look a lot younger. Like the dude does not look the same.
He doesn't age. He's fine.
He definitely ages.
Oh, he ages, but he's fine.
Yeah.
Just keep coloring his beard.
I'm really excited to see how how good the technology is these days. Cause...
It was funny that beeper he used.
Yeah.
So where was she? Where's Captain Marvel?
What do you mean?
When he beeped her.
She's got to be around, don't you think?
I have no idea. You think she's in space somewhere?
I don't think she's in space.
You think she's there?
Mm-hmm.
Like Cap was just underground the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can tell... But where was she then? During the battle? It's funny, I've seen a lot of memes now because when Scarlet Witch finally entered the battle in Wakanda, and they were like, "Where the hell? Why was she up there the whole time?" That was like the funniest line, I think.
Oh yeah, she stole it. Deny.
Yeah, she was great.
She's fucking amazing.
I call her Michonne, but
you.
I know she's Okoye in the movie. But yeah, like why was she up there? And then like they do the same. Someone memed it where they beep the beep thing, and then like they had a panel of Captain Marvel punching Thanos from a comic book, and then you see Okoye and with the other warriors be like, "Where was she this whole time?" It's like, yeah, she would have helped a lot.
Yeah, seriously,
she's bad powerful. I don't know. That's the weird part. Like that made me geek out because I didn't know at all.
I have a feeling she's on Earth.
Probably. I have a feeling she's in space. And that's the only logical reason why she was not in any other battle. I don't know, but I have no idea.
Maybe she's just... How young is she? Do we know? How young she's going to be in
probably
her
in the
movie?
30s. In her movie?
Yeah.
Probably in her 20s.
You think like...
Because that's in the 90s and we're like... She might, she's going to be young.
Yeah.
Because then she's going to be like 30-something in our time.
She's got to be young in that movie.
Yeah, because that's 20 years ago.
Yeah. She's has to.
So she's got to be like 19.
Maybe even younger.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of wondering.
We're going to see what year and then how they explain it. Maybe she's in high school. Maybe she just gets out of high school.
Yeah. Like Peter Parker age.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
What's her planet again?
What do you mean her planet? She's from Earth.
Is she from Earth?
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was from space.
No, she's from Earth. She just gets her power from the Kree.
Right. Oh, that's just using the Air Force. That's what.
Yeah.
Duh. Yeah.
The original Captain Marvel gave her powers.
Marvel. Yeah.
Marvel, yeah. Who dies of space cancer.
Where do you know where she's from on Earth?
No,
like the Midwest. I'm getting a Midwest vibe.
I'm getting a Midwest vibe.
Yeah.
Maybe she's from California. I don't know.
They better not introduce a blonde woman from California.
I'm gonna look it up right now. It's Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers. Just talk.
But so in the comics, she was from Earth, but at that time, Earth was aware of other.
Well, that's what remember like with Shield.
Right.
Like Agent of Shield, where they have the Kree guy, and that's how they bring Coulson back to life because they already interacted with the Kree already.
Right.
And remember, this is where the Kree and the Skrulls are warring with each other.
I think that's where a lot of people are confused, non-comic book fans.
What do you mean?
I think that non-comic book fans are under the impression that Captain Marvel is an alien.
Because the original one is.
Right.
But not Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers is from Earth.
Right.
Doo-doo-doo. Wiki's not helping me right now.
I don't know if they ever give a specific.
They have to. That'd be weird.
You're trusting the wiki builders to give you all the information.
Where is Carol Danvers from? I should have just been more specific. Don't tell me Marvel Comics. I'll be really upset. She's from Marvel Comics. Damn it.
So
okay, from Marvel.com. Okay.
What city was Nick Fury and Maria Hill in? New York?
New York.
Oh, they were in New York?
Because that post-credit scene happens when the original fight was with Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Spider-Man. Mm. I love the reveal of Spider-Man, though. Like, Iron Man's about to get punched and just stops. And he goes, hey. Loved it.
Yeah, I love Spider-Man. I love how he got the iron suit.
Carol Danvers entered the Air Force upon graduating from high school. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, she's from Boston. Jeez Louise.
Oh, God. We don't...
Place of birth, Boston,
we
Massachusetts.
both hate Boston. You don't like Boston either?
I do not
yeah,
like
okay,
Boston.
yeah. I don't
like the New England area. No
I don't
offense,
think
guys.
any New Yorker likes Boston.
No.
Yeah.
I've had my run-ins with Massachusetts. I'm good.
Yeah. I feel like to New Yorkers, it's like the same way that DC, like the South thinks of Virginia. It's just like you don't go to Virginia. like that's like the East Coast version of Boston. Like you just don't go to Boston. Like
I'm sure it's a nice place. I've been to Boston. I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah, but
anyway.
that's interesting. I wonder if they're gonna keep that.
I wonder if she's gonna have that accent.
We haven't met a character from Boston.
No, because Cap is from New York. Iron Man's from New York. Bruce Banner's from New York. Doctor Strange is from New York.
But, alright, any crazy theories heading in?
Vision's alive. I told us a little bit. Okay, so.
People were flaming me in the comments because
About what?
In my list, I said Vision's dead, and they're like, he can't die, he's a robot. And I'm like, get over it.
He's dead. I mean, dead.
Yeah.
This is what I asked in the Avengers, our Avengers Slack chat, where they explained, which I found very interesting, and that they were trying. The whole plan with Vision was to separate him from the Mind Stone, so they could just destroy the Time Stone without killing Vision. And in that explanation, they said that there's 5 consciousness inside of Vision. There's Jarvis, then there's Bruce Banner, Tony Stark, Ultron, Mind Stone, and everything is somehow they all are together, no problem, and that maybe it's the Mind Stone helping with that. And the whole point was to separate the Mind Stone consciousness from Vision, and that's what Shuri was trying to do. And we don't know if she completed it. I feel like she did. And so I think Vision's consciousness is in the computer somewhere.
Oh, I think so too. I think mine's a play on yours. I think Shuri knew she wasn't going to be able to extract the stone in time, so she gathered all the data she'd need to replicate the stone.
Maybe.
That's my theory.
The Mind Stone, you mean?
Yes, and I think that if she can replicate the Mind Stone, that means she can
revive.
She can start replicating the other stones as well. You know what I mean? And kind of build her own version of the gauntlet, something with similar powers.
Maybe.
Because remember how she already seemed to know a lot more about the material in the stones than anyone else? She was like, oh, why didn't you think of that, to Bruce Banner? It's like there's trillions of blah, 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 blah. She seemed to have a grasp on it from the get, you know?
Maybe. I mean, she's just a smart kid. You know
well, then
I mean?
she kept saying like twice, I'm not going to have enough time. Like, she said that multiple times.
Because, like, it's like, what did she say? It was like, there's like 9 trillion synapses,
yeah, exactly.
And if I ruin one, then it's all over.
So I think she knew from the get that she was not going to be able to extract that stone, and I think she probably just gathered a bunch of data.
I think she just I think she completed... I think you're right. She didn't have enough time to extract him from the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm.
I think she had enough time to back up his mind, his consciousness into the computer.
Yeah.
And they can maybe she'll be able to replicate the Mind Stone or give something to revive him.
And I also think, you know how they made a point to show the destroyed Infinity Gauntlet, you know, as he was phasing through to the other, where we don't really know where he went, but we saw it kind of like
it's like all black, yeah, and his arms all burnt up. Yeah.
I don't think that had to have been purposeful.
It had to be.
So that to me kind of signifies that like this is going to be replicated somehow. You know what I mean?
You mean the whole destruction thing?
No, like the gauntlet itself, stones. Maybe
I think the gauntlet's fine.
Maybe she'll build a gauntlet that has fewer stone slots.
Maybe
you know what
for everyone
something
to use. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
because all the holders are also destroyed at this point. You know, I'd assume Thanos just destroyed like the orb, the Tesseract. Like he destroyed. You know, all that's left is the stones.
Oh, you mean the casings?
Yeah, there's like no casings.
It's just the stone itself. Yeah. It's weird because like, how did you know how big the stones are? You know what I mean, and how it fits into the thing and but it's magic. Whatever. We'll just go with that. It'll be interesting because then he'll probably try to use the gauntlet again, and it's probably all fritzed. You know what I mean? It's all messed up, so it probably won't work as intended. That's probably how they're gonna get him because he just kind of short circuited the entire gauntlet.
Didn't you say he's just gonna retire on like a farm?
I'm sure like that wherever he went, he's probably just chilling, and if they're gonna find him, and go just beat him up. Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't particularly fond of his I guess justification of why he's doing what he's doing. It is a classic take on like I want to take over the world. Like, there's nothing really. They try to like make it deeper than that, and it like.
It's not really take over the world. His
motives.
His motives are just like it's thin, but it's something. It's like it's sort of normal, but not really. It's him trying to play God. Like, who the hell is he to decide? Yeah. You know what I mean? Now that's what the most aggravating part about Thanos was, like, who the fuck are you? Yeah. To be like, no, half the population, like, you don't know that. And Gamora said it. You don't know that. Mm-hmm. Just because it happened to your planet doesn't mean whatever. It's like, well, he's just going off a theory. It's like, you don't fucking know. Yeah. I appreciate it more this way than in how the comics did it, where he was just a mad person just, like, trying to appease death by killing half the people. Yeah. I appreciate this version, though, better.
I don't know. It kind of goes back to, I actually think last time we were doing Cape Talk, where it's like, for me, it's like you're going to have a stupid villain, big fat guy who's going to, like, destroy everything. These are made-up movies. Does each villain really need to have, like, a good reason, There's insane people, and I think that they might have went too far with that, and I think that's why, for me, for a lot of people, that Gamora thing was, like, approaching problematic, because it just seemed like, okay, he's crazy.
Looking for a reason.
He's crazy. Like, we know it, so does he really have to kill his daughter, too? You know what I mean? Like, is that really necessary at that point? Or are you just flailing some poor woman and gonna kill her just because? It adds to the passion behind his motive. Like, So in that sense, I get it. Although watching it, the Gamora storyline was the most compelling to me. Not her death, but the fact that she knew where the Soul Stone was. That was a big thing heading in. She made it interesting. It
really showed also her love for her sister too. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then the love back from Nebula, which, again, going back, the years that passed between Guardians Volume 2 where Nebula hated her, right. But towards the end they were like, okay. Yeah. And then now years pass and now they're like sisters now.
I mean, seeing her tortured again, though, like, the more I think about it, it is a little bit much, They, like, showed her being tortured like that. And then
to get the information out,
yeah.
It's just
It's tough territory.
I see the problem. Like I see why people might be upset about it, but like I don't. It's not a problem for me.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
mean,
like,
I would have felt just
it.
as bad if it was a man. I don't know, like
But it's like it had nothing to do with male or female. It had to do about the connection between Nebula and Gamora.
Right, he has daughters.
And same thing with here is with the connection between Gamora and Thanos, which they probably could have explored a little better because clearly it was one-sided.
Yeah.
Clearly. Like, why did Thanos love Gamora more than Nebula?
Right.
Or any other children?
Well, I think he already probably stopped loving Nebula when he started replacing her body parts with machinery.
No, he was just trying to, like, make her stronger.
Yeah.
But, like they never really, like, they showed that backstory, which is fine, of how he got Gamora, but it doesn't really explain why her. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're a fighter. I'm going to just take you. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But why did you have this love for this person? Mm-hmm. Like, where, because clearly she didn't feel that love, because she thought, you don't love anyone.
Right.
You're not going to be able to get the Soul Stone. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, you're the one that's going to die.
Right.
But it's just like, but we don't get that, you know what I'm saying? We don't see that, and maybe maybe there's a scene that's deleted that could have helped with that.
Yeah.
It definitely needed something more, because you're just going off of what he says. Right. And, like, why would I trust him?
Yeah.
Say, I shed a tear.
Yeah. In Guardians, did we see flashbacks from her perspective of her father?
No.
Okay.
Of Thanos, you mean? Mm-hmm. No. It's just completely told between
so maybe
Nebula
that would have been the
Gamora.
solution, I think. Yeah.
Maybe in Guardians. Mm-hmm. Even in Guardians 2 would have been nice.
Yeah.
Because all they do is just talk about it.
Right.
And so we're supposed to trust, and why wouldn't we trust Gamora? You know, and Nebula's story, like, oh man, they made us fight all the time, and whoever lost got like replaced. That's why she hated Gamora.
Right.
Because Gamora kept beating her, and because she kept beating her, Thanos would like mangle her and turn her into a robot to become stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
If Gamora just let her win, maybe that was their whole point. But it's like he's a monster. Everything they told about him, he's a monster.
Yeah.
And now we're supposed to feel bad for him?
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Yeah, you hit it on the head there.
So if they showed a little bit more of like why he loved Gamora, but then it just contradicts everything that she hates him so much. So what could have been done throughout the years that she's lived to show that he actually loved this woman?
Yeah.
And that's what people have problems with. That's why I kind of have problems with. Like, I'll just take it for face value because I'm just gonna I'll just take it for what it is. But like when you actually think about it. There was really nothing there to show that. It's like, why would I believe Thanos really loved Gamora?
Yeah.
He tortured her, made her fight, made her kill people. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I don't know, like, did he have it would have been cool if he had like a daughter. That daughter died, and it kind of reminded him of his daughter.
Yeah, something.
You know, something like that. But it's just like, I just took this kid, she's a fighter, she's going to put her in my army, and that's it. But, like, where in those years?
Well, you know what I think it was? She was kind of like his trophy, you know, of...
Maybe.
Oh, I saved you. You're my... Like, you're the only thing left of, you know, your planet. Like, it was him. It was, like, almost his, like, sadistic trophy.
It was, like... It would have been interesting, like, in her planet where... which is why they went to that planet, to Gamora's planet, because it was very similar to his planet where it was overpopulated. You know, the lower class were struggling for food because there wasn't enough. And then he said, I'm just going to kill half the population. It would have been interesting to see a young Gamora, maybe not that young, but maybe a little older, trying to fight to survive.
Yeah.
Or like, and like, oh, this girl understands my plan, sort of thing. And then maybe she was in line with him until she kind of realized it, you know, and make her own decision, oh, this is bad. Maybe that's where it was, and maybe that's where they were going with. But, like, we don't know that.
Yeah.
Because he just, like, from everything she said, like, no, I never loved you. I never was... Right? Mm-hmm. Am I wrong? Because he sent her to find the Soul Stone. That was the thing. She found it. She was like, no. I can't do this.
Yeah. I can't let you find that out. Yeah.
So it's just like, was she in line with him the whole time? I don't think so.
Until she had an
epiphany. Maybe she had like an epiphany. Yeah.
Well, I think until she had another option.
What was the option?
The Guardians.
Well, she didn't know them.
Yeah.
They just kind of just ran into each other.
That's true. Yeah, she's an interesting... You know.
Her story was very interesting. My favorite parts were her and Scarlet Witch and Vision, personally.
I'm so surprised that Scarlet Witch and Vision is one of your.
I enjoyed that story because we didn't get to see most of it. Like we're talking about, like, yeah, we know Tony, yeah, we know the Guardians, we know Cap. Like we barely see Vision and Scarlet Witch on their own. Mm-hmm. That it was really cool to hear like how they're feeling. You know, like no, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to have our time.
Yeah.
And I kind of like went through the whole. Andrew brought it up actually, where he says it was kind of bad that they did it 3 times, the whole kill my lover kind of thing. Scarlet Witch and Vision, it's like, oh, you need to kill me. Star-Lord and Gamora, you need to kill me. Thanos and Gamora, you need to kill me. And he goes, he brought that up, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't really think about it. But maybe that was the whole arc, I guess. But like the whole theme of this movie, of that love and like how far does love go. But like it doesn't really like, it seems like it, but it's not really the theme of this movie.
Yeah.
Because they bring it up 3 times, and I didn't realize. I'm like, oh shit, you're right.
It's really just too much to digest almost, and I think that's why it's gonna be such a highly reviewed movie and everyone likes it. I just feel like there's almost too much going on to really even it takes so long to even grasp it in your head to really decide how you feel about it.
Yeah, it's just like I said this before. I'm like, once the second one comes out, I think we will look kinder to this movie. Mm-hmm. And then be like, okay, like now it feels complete.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like a complete movie on its own. Standing on its own, it does not feel like a complete movie. It just feels like the season finale.
I could have been shorter. It could have been shorter.
Maybe. Yeah. I didn't feel it personally.
It's not that makes me feel like it could have been shorter.
What would you have cut out?
It just was a little too much. I would have cut out that first 10-minute scene. I probably would have cut out. I would have cut out a few. Marvel really relies on that first interaction, right, for comedy, right? So, Guardians meet Thor. Let's see how many jokes we can kind of push in. I would have.
That was a little long, yeah.
I would have liked it. I would like them to kind of jump in, kind of. I don't know. In my eyes, you're gonna make people watch 10 movies to understand what's happening. Then rely on the fact that they watch 10
credit.
movies.
They give them credit.
Like that's my thing.
I mean, I really want to know where to cut.
And I think that could have cut the time length. If you depended on people watching the 10 movies before, you could have cut the time a little bit. I don't want to sit in a theater for 2 hours, 3 hours including commercials.
I feel like the pillars of the movie were the Scarlet Witch, Vision, Gamora. And there had to be another one. Maybe I guess Thanos, right?
Yeah, and what was let down was Cap's storyline was a huge letdown.
The Cap storyline had nothing to do with anything. Like Tony's storyline is good, but I don't feel like it was big enough to hold up the movie. It was the Scarlet Witch and Vision. It was Gamora and Thanos. Not really Doctor Strange either. It was it was there, my duty versus my personal feelings sort of thing. But that wasn't a big enough story. Cap's was non-existent.
Mm-hmm. Black Panther was non-existent.
That was non-existent. They were just there just to hold this fight. You know what I mean? The only other one I would think was Star-Lord and Gamora in that relationship. And I guess it goes between the 3 love things that Andrew brought up. Those are the pillars of the movie. Star-Lord and Gamora's relationship, Gamora and Thanos' relationship, and the Scarlet Witch and Vision's relationship. Mm-hmm. And it was what it means to be an Avenger, what it means to be a hero and love and all that kind of thing just mixed together.
I would say Thor had a storyline on his own.
He definitely had a storyline on his own, but it wasn't thematically or anything.
I think he tied the movie together.
He does, and he was a total badass. It was just him, I lost my people. I'm getting revenge.
I mean, he made the movie make sense, timeline-wise. You know what I mean? He really strung it along.
I guess. It was my least favorite subplot, personally, him getting his hammer, or axe, or whatever. That was my least favorite, personally.
Yeah, it's
you literally, him there's Peter Dinklage. Here's Peter Dinklage. That was long. I'm like, did we really
They could have just, he grabbed the hammer on his way back.
I had this bit made, blah, 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 just in case. You know what I mean? It's just okay. That whole point of that subplot was to get Groot on board. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's Thor is in trouble. Let me help him. I guess. Because you spend enough time and space together. I don't know. But,
all right. Well, any closing thoughts?
I liked it. it's one of those things where I want to watch it again, but I don't know if I have it in me. Mm-hmm. I might have to wait a few weeks to maybe watch it again.
Yeah, it's like when you even think about it back to back with a movie like Civil War, which wasn't my favorite. It doesn't even feel like a movie though. It just doesn't.
It just didn't feel epic enough, and that's what that's the one thing I feel like. There's moments where I was like, oh, that's cool, and like watching it, and someone put it on Twitter this way, and I forgot who it was. Watching Infinity War was like a jelly-filled donut. This is how they put it. The anticipation of having it is good, and enjoying the donut in that moment is good, but after you're done with it, you just realize it's just empty calories and nothing really sticks. You know what I mean? It's like it happened and now it's gone. It's like you're thinking about it, you're like, all right, it really didn't resonate with me. And I don't know if I completely agree with that, but I understand where they're coming from, because it just didn't feel epic. Like the first Avengers movie, which is hard to replicate, where this is the first time these people are together, and we've seen 3 other movies where all these people are together now. It's like you don't get that feeling again. You can't replicate that feeling. So what you're trying to do is make this epic battle with this crazy villain, and then have a bunch of deaths. And it's like that's where you're trying to get people. I think the deaths are really where you're trying to get people. When you think of the movie as a whole, it's just like it's not really epic to me.
Yeah, there was no crescendo. You started on full blast. You ended on full blast.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like there was like. They
had it within the first 45 minutes. They had it slowly, but after that, it just kind of topped and flatlined.
Yeah, there was like no down. Like the only down moments were getting the Soul Stone, and even then it was the emotional stuff. You know what I mean? Like even them going to like nowhere.
Yeah.
That could have been probably cut, but like I get the reason for it. Again, to get Gamora to Thanos, and to also show like the Star-Lord thing. It cracks me up because it's like they held on that moment for a little too long, where it's like kill her already, and then Thanos. I will say that's a badass moment. It's like kill her then, go ahead, do it. And it's like he was gonna kill her though, but then he used the reality stone to turn into bubbles.
And then he was like, "Oh, I respect you now."
No, he's like, "Oh, I like him."
Yeah.
Like a father would say. You know what I mean? That's the whole.
He's not gonna like him when he picks up the fucking stone and kills his ass.
You don't realize he's a half god.
Yeah.
Or immortal, or whatever they call it.
I love the fat jokes.
What fat jokes?
From Star-Lord, from Drax or whatever.
Oh, in the beginning. Oh yeah, that got the most laughs in that thing was Chris Hemsworth kind of like rubbing like Gamora's shoulder, and it was Star-Lord just trying like walks in like tries to get between them, and he's like, "Oh, you're a strong warrior," kind of thing. And then Star-Lord's just like, what? Oh, man. Oh, and him imitating his voice. Are you changing your voice? Oh, this is how I always talk.
There was definitely some good moments, yeah. But I think I said, oh, shit, like more than I laughed, so.
I know in that when everyone was kind of like, and I saw it coming, and then when it finally happened, I was just like, this was me the whole time, and my fiance was just laughing at me. Because I'm like this, like, I'm like this. Like I'm like trying to like breathe, and I'm like getting a headache. I'm just like kind of like rubbing my head like this while everyone's dying in front of me. I'm just like, like fucking A.
I had to laugh at some of them, but.
Did you laugh at Spider-Man's death?
No, I did not.
Andrew laughed, he said, because it was so over the top.
It was over the top.
It was over the top, but...
And you know what? They went slower. Like, that was not real. Everyone else disappeared faster. That's some bullshit. It took Spider-Man, like, 15 seconds.
That's... You know how I explained that? The Infinity Stones were like, do I want to kill him? Okay, yeah, he's dead.
Oh, all right. Well, that's it.
Yeah, that's
no other wild theories?
No other wild...
Right.
Vision's alive. That's my wild theory.
No, that's so wild.
I think it's pretty obvious that he is, but I think he's alive. Oh, can I also say like, Vision dying twice sucked. And that was like really crazy. I think a lot of people gasped when he just like reversed. Even though I saw it coming, I'm like, here's the times when
like he's not even. He's barely using these fucking stones.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, yo, he could kill you. Like that whole fight on Titan, and he already had like 4, right? I'm like, come on. I'm like, yo, he could reality stone the shit out of you. Like he did with Drax and Mantis. Like, what? Like, he's just playing with you guys.
I think my biggest criticism is the fact that Cap, like, you're going to tease Cap's death. You're going to have that fucking fake, now we know his fake photo of him pushing on the gauntlet. That was not in the movie.
No. The whole, when it was in the movie was, And what had me really hyped was when Thanos was like this and he holds up his thing. And I got regulated to like a slow motion thing. And I'm like, oh, he ain't dying. That's where I thought he was going to die. And it was going to be a bigger moment, like Thanos being like, oh shit, who's this dude? And he got none of that.
Yeah, I think Cap was the biggest letdown for me.
He was definitely the biggest. When we talking about it now, he was definitely my biggest letdown. Like I thought he was gonna have a huge part.
Yeah, huge.
I thought like he's gonna have a huge part. He's gonna die.
Yeah.
You know, before him and Tony can reconcile. Nope.
Yeah. But anyhow, all right. Well, let us know if you guys think Cap was a letdown for you.
I think this was longer than we expected it to be.
We definitely meant to go only like 20 minutes, and it's like
knew
an
that
hour,
wasn't gonna happen.
But
anyway, guys, I guess we'll return whenever. Just keep checking back player one. Keep checking back player one. If you want to see more of us, let us know. You know, we'll then check. You know, catch us on Twitter. We'll have our Twitter handles and stuff. You'll get more of our impressions on these movies coming up. And yeah, until next time, later.